Hey everybody, thank you for joining me once again for another episode of the Tamara Tamu Collective, where dreams have no filter. So I want to try something a little bit different in this video. I want to start start a series, I guess I would call it, on creativity. And I want to talk about the benefits, why we need more of it, how it connects to our spirituality, how it helps with our frequency and our positivity, and how we are vibrating, okay, and how we're being and existing, and how it affects our expansion into the vision that we have for ourselves, the highest vision that we have for ourselves, right? And I thought, instead of, while I'm doing this series, I thought, okay, since I'm talking about creativity, maybe while I'm talking, I can also actually be creative. So, working on my creative project and talking about it at the same time, perhaps that would be a good idea. This is part of creativity, just trying new things, not caring about the outcome, not worrying about the outcome or how it looks. I'm just going to see how this is going to work. I don't even know how this is going to work, because the way that I have this phone, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't want it to slide down onto the floor or slide down anywhere. So we're just going to work on this in this video and just see if it works. But anyway, first, let me tell you what I am working on is a new collection, apparel collection that I'm calling the Freedom Collection, okay? And so this is my hand-painted collection. Well, all of them not all of them have not been hand-painted apparel. I just started this maybe the last 3 years, really focused on hand-painted apparel. And so this new collection is called the Freedom Collection. So freedom, very general term. It can mean anything depending on who you talk to. And what motivated me, or I guess you could say what inspired me to do this collection, is the act of being creative in general. That's freedom. A lot of times when you talk, especially now, especially maybe within the last 2 years, when you talk about freedom, or when we hear the word freedom, we often relate it to financial freedom, okay? Which is a byproduct of freedom. Freedom is a way of being. Freedom is a way of existing. Freedom is how you spend your time, what you choose to spend your time on. And I'm talking from day to day, from the time you get up, from the time you open up your eyes, from the time you take rest. Are you spending your days in freedom? To me, again, money is a byproduct, I believe, of being freedom, of being free. Free to exist in a way, and again, I'm talking from my perspective. To me, freedom means existing in a way that brings you joy, existing in a way where you have every opportunity to exist in your essence, spending your time the way you want to spend your time, not adhering to any schedule except for the schedule that you decide to create. That's one of the ways I look at freedom. And so let me just do a side note here. One of the reasons that I love apparel so much is because apparel, to me, is one of the most important ways that we can show and express our freedom. So you can look at what you decided to put on today, and whether you made a conscious effort or not, you decided to choose the colors that you have on for a reason. There was something about what you pulled out of your closet that represents you and your freedom to express you. Now you may be saying, well, I chose the shirt and the pants that I have on today because I can't walk out of my house naked. Well, okay, that may be true for some of you depending on where you live, okay? But we'll assume that you live in an area where, you need to be dressed. You need to be clothed, okay? But there was a reason why. First of all, there's a reason why you purchased what you purchased. You purchased that outfit, whether it's brand new or not. There's a reason why you were drawn to that. And you had the freedom to say, this shirt in this color makes me feel like I can exist in my most authentic self. And being in my most authentic self is what freedom is. And I think that that's the simplest definition that I would give to freedom, which goes back to our creativity and why it's so important to incorporate that in our lives, because it reminds us that we have, let me just say this, so many of us, we're so quick to give our power away. We're so quick to say, well, we're so quick to talk ourselves out of certain things. which is what leads me back to the vision that we have, which is why a lot of us either just lay it aside or pretend like the vision isn't there, or pretend like that desire is not there, because we tell ourselves, we give our power away. We tell ourselves that we can't have certain things, or certain things can't be done, because that's just not the way things are. And that's when creativity comes in, because creativity allows you to say, well, wait a minute. Where did that story come from that that's not just the way, that's how things are, and that's how I have to do things, or this is how I have to be, because that's just the way things are. Being creative and adding some form of creativity in your life, and that could, for some of you, it could start out with your clothes. Some of you, being creative for you may mean to just start wearing different colors. If you're used to wearing navy blue and, I don't know, yellow all the time, well, maybe it's just time to add green. For no other reason, for no other outcome other than, I just want to see what this feels like. I want to try something different. Because if you've paid any attention to me, or if you've listened to any of my videos, to get to that highest vision requires for you to do things differently. It's going to take, and not just in going deeper than doing things differently, but getting into a higher state of consciousness, which creativity will do for you. Sometimes we get what keeps us from being creative and doing things differently, or accepting that there is another way to exist, is that we get so used to doing things the same way. Or we tell ourselves we're not creative, when in fact, that is not true at all. All of us are creative, because it is in our DNA to create our worlds. To create our worlds, to create our economy. Not being attacked, oh, this is what I was going to say. Some of us stop ourselves from being creative because our focus is too much on the outcome. So, for example, as I'm doing this, if you see, I'm painting the fabric, right? Now, I don't know how much you can see here, but you could almost say, well, why don't you just get a big bucket, pour the color of paint into the bucket, and just dip your fabric into the bucket. That'll be faster. But that's not the point. The point of being creative is that it uses your essence. It uses your energy. Being creative uses your body. It goes beyond your mind, okay? And it taps into the intuitive part of you, which that intuitive part of you is probably the most important when it comes to getting us to think outside the box, and getting us to think outside of the construct, and getting us to think outside of the stories that we've created for ourselves of why things have to be a certain way, or that's just not how things are, or, you know, I have this vision, but I've got this over here and I have to choose. All of those either or constructs, instead of understanding that, yes, you can have all, because you can create all. So what I was going to say was, that was a side note. So let me go back to what I was saying about the paint. So creativity, you use your body, not takes you outside of your head, uses your body, and it gets you in the practice of using your intuition so that your body leads, your mind follows. So while I'm using this paintbrush, as I'm dipping the paint into the paint, or the paintbrush into the paint, and then applying the paintbrush to the fabric, I don't have to, there's no, once the paintbrush hits the fabric, my body has taken over. Not my mind. Not my mind. It's too late. And so that's why I say intuition or creativity helps you expand your intuition, because intuition is the body leading and the mind following. So when you're creative, so again, going back to the outcome, it's not about the outcome. It's about creating the freedom that you want to experience, that you want to experience. This is not about the freedom that you should experience or the freedom that you might be able to experience, but the freedom to live in adventure. Again, I want to bring up, I know I said this before, but not being adhered to a schedule, except for the schedule that you create. Just being in the practice of enjoying, being in joy, doing something that you love, in understanding that you can create your life of freedom, spending your time in the way that you enjoy, and not having a time limit on anything, not having an outcome attached. This, like I said, I'm working on this collection. This collection, these clothes are, first of all, inspired. Every color that I've used in this collection, I've used blue and pink, or excuse me, magenta and purple. I was very intentional about using those colors because each of those colors means something. Blue, to me, represents ease and flow. Well, for me, ease and flow of what? Freedom. Ease and flow of being able to do the things that I love. Not with force, not doing things that someone said, oh, you should do, but doing things that I love, because I came here to be, okay? The magenta, to me, represents power. So going back to how being creative reminds you of the power that you have to create your life. Then purple, first of all, purple is just my favorite color. It's just a beautiful color, okay? Purple to me represents luxury. It represents richness. It represents things that are luscious. It represents beauty. So all of those things combined, along with a symbol that I use, I'm just going to show you this before I end this video. But I'm going to, after I get through painting, this is actually going to be a dress, a maxi dress. But after I get through painting all the fabric, I'm going to infuse this symbol here that I created, which to me represents freedom, right? And I'm going to infuse that, and when I say infuse, I'm just going to paint over this mixture of colors. And the fabric is, or the symbol, you may be able to see it in its definite form, or it may kind of look a little bit subtle, you know, or you may have to really be paying attention to actually realize, oh wait, there's actually an image in there. And so that's what I'm working on, okay? That is part of the way I express my creativity. So I hope that made sense. I am going to try this again. We're going to see how this works, because I am still, and it is sad to me, because we don't have to be in this vibration. I still hear people saying, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. Get creative. Get creative. I don't care what you have to do. Do something different. And again, being creative is not about picking up a paintbrush. It goes beyond painting, drawing. But when I say creative, do something different, because it puts you, it causes you to, it's almost like, okay, race, or we'll say this, track and fields. When the runners are in their lanes and they have their feet, I don't know what do you call that? You know, the tool that they use to put their feet in, and then, you know, the gun goes off, and then they, you know, on your mark, get set, go. It's kind of like that. Doing something different puts you in that get ready, set, go mind frame. And what you're doing is to get ready, set, go, you're moving into a different state of being, which means you're moving into a different state of thinking as well. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. I hope that made sense. But yeah, I want to start this series on creativity and just talk about it more, because we need more of it. We really do. We need more of it to remind ourselves of who we are and how powerful we are. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.